Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're the Morse Global Finance Podcast team. I'm John, and I'll be your host for this deep dive. With me is Tiffany, our precious metals expert. You wanted to learn more about American Hartford Gold, a company specializing in precious metal IRAs. So we've got a stack of research here to help us unpack what they're all about. And stick around because we found something interesting. American Hartford Gold has been endorsed by some pretty unexpected figures.
It is interesting to see how American Hartford Gold, a family-owned company, has managed to garner endorsements from such prominent figures. It really says something about their standing in the precious metals market.
Okay, so before we get to the endorsements, let's start with the basics. What exactly is American Hartford Gold, and what makes them different?
American Hartford Gold specializes in helping people invest in precious metals, with a focus on gold and silver IRAs. What sets them apart is that they also offer direct investments in precious metals, giving you more flexibility than a standard IRA.
So you're not locked into an IRA if you don't want to be. That's pretty cool. What kind of services do they offer for both types of investments?
They've got a pretty comprehensive range of services. They handle IRA rollovers, direct precious metal purchases, and they even have a buyback program. They also help set up storage with reputable facilities and custodians.
Hold on. A buyback program? That sounds way easier than trying to sell gold on my own. Most investors probably don't think about the logistics of actually storing physical gold either.
Exactly. They really seem to have considered the entire process, from buying to selling and everything in between. It can make investing in precious metals much less daunting.
Okay. I'm starting to see why you were surprised by the endorsements. But let's back up a bit. What kind of gold and silver can you actually invest in with their IRAs?
For gold IRAs, they offer popular options like American Eagle and Canadian Buffalo coins. These are highly sought after because they are known for their purity and are IRS approved, which is a crucial detail when dealing with IRAs. On the silver side, they also offer American Eagle and Canadian Buffalo silver coins, also IRS approved and with good potential for returns.
So it's not just any gold or silver coin that you can put in an IRA. There are specific requirements. That makes sense. But like any investment, there have to be some downsides, right?
Yeah.
Nothing's perfect.
Yeah.
What are some of the drawbacks of going with American Hartford Gold?
You're right. No investment is without its drawbacks. While they have a lot of positives, such as easy account setup, reasonable fees, free shipping, a good return policy, and frequent bonuses for first-time customers, there are some areas where they could improve. For example, their pricing isn't as transparent as it could be.
That would make me a little hesitant.
Yeah.
I like to know exactly what I'm paying for. What else?
They also don't currently offer cryptocurrency IRA options, which could be a deal breaker for some investors. Their metal selection is primarily focused on gold and silver, so if you're looking for more exotic metals, you'll need to look elsewhere. And they have limited payment options, which can be inconvenient.
So it sounds like there's some trade-offs to consider.
Yeah.
Let's say I'm interested and want to open an account. What's the process like?
It's surprisingly simple. It's a 3-step process. You open a self-directed IRA, fund the account, and then choose the precious metals you want to purchase. They guide you through each step.
That sounds pretty painless. What about the nitty-gritty details like account setup and pricing? Those can be kind of confusing sometimes.
Those details are definitely important, and they can vary, depending on your initial deposit or rollover amount. The best way to get specific information is to speak directly with one of their representatives.
Good point. So we talked about what American Hartford Gold is, their services, the types of precious metals you can invest in, and even some of the potential drawbacks. But for the listener who's maybe on the fence, why choose them? What makes them stand out?
There are a few key reasons. We've already touched on the ease of setup, the range of services, and the reputable products. But zooming out a bit, it's important to remember that gold is often considered a safety net against inflation. It can help diversify your portfolio and potentially protect your savings in times of economic uncertainty. American Hartford Gold offers a transparent and, in many ways, convenient way to access those benefits. And their consistent ranking on the Inc. 5,000 list for 4 years running suggests they're committed to growth and customer satisfaction.
That's a good point. It's one thing to offer a product or service, but it's another to have a proven track record of success.
Speaking of success, you mentioned earlier that they have some pretty high-profile endorsements. I'm really curious about that. What makes their endorsements so surprising? Well, they have been highly recommended by a variety of people, including Roman Baumikoff, Rick Harrison, and even Bill O'Reilly. It's not every day you see such a diverse group of individuals all backing the same company.
That is a pretty interesting mix. It's not just the endorsements, though, right? You mentioned something about reviews. What have you found?
They have consistently stellar reviews across multiple platforms. They have an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau, and AA from the Business Consumer Alliance, 4.8 out of 5 on Trustpilot, and 4.6 out of 5 on Consumer Affairs. We're talking about hundreds, even thousands of positive reviews. It's pretty impressive.
It sounds like they're doing something right, but before we get too carried away singing their praises, let's talk about the elephant in the room.
Risk. Any investment comes with risks, and precious metals are no exception. What should the listener be aware of when considering this type of investment? That's such an important point. It's crucial to remember that no investment is completely risk-free. Precious metals in particular require a long-term perspective, ideally 5 to 10 years. The market can fluctuate. And gold and silver don't generate regular income like dividends from stocks.
So patience is key. And it's important to be comfortable with the fact that the value of your investment could go down before it goes up.
Yeah.
It's not a get-rich-quick scheme.
Exactly. It's about diversification and a long-term strategy for potentially hedging against inflation or economic downturns.
Okay, that makes sense. Now let's address some of the questions that might be popping into our listeners' head. For example, is American Hartford Gold a publicly traded company?
That's a common question, and the answer is no. They are privately held, so you won't find their stock on any exchange.
Good to know. And here's the million-dollar question. Is American Hartford Gold a good investment for me personally?
Unfortunately, that's a question only you can answer. It depends entirely on your individual circumstances, financial goals, and risk tolerance. While they have a solid reputation and offer valuable services, it's essential to consider how precious metals fit into your overall financial plan, and it's always a good idea to consult with a qualified financial advisor.
Solid advice. Don't put all your eggs in one basket, and get professional guidance to make the best decision for your specific situation. Now, while we're on the topic of professional guidance, American Hartford Gold isn't run by some faceless corporation, right? Who's the driving force behind this company?
The company was founded and is currently led by CEO Sanford Mann. He's considered a key figure in the precious metals IRA industry, and his leadership is a big part of what sets American Hartford Gold apart.
So they have a clear vision and a leader with experience. That's reassuring. But what is it about their approach that truly makes them stand out in such a competitive industry?
They've really carved out a niche by focusing specifically on precious metals for IRAs. They combine that with exceptional customer support, 24/7 availability, and a very streamlined process for setting up and managing your gold IRA. It's their dedication to customer service combined with their deep expertise in this particular area that truly differentiates them.
Okay, so they've honed their expertise and built a reputation around it. That makes a lot of sense. Now, we talked earlier about their buyback program. Sounds pretty straightforward. But are there any hidden fees associated with selling your gold back to them?
That's a great question, and one that often comes up. What's interesting is that American Hartford Gold prides itself on not charging any fees for their buyback program. They want to make selling your gold as simple and cost-effective as possible.
No fees on the buyback program. That's pretty amazing. Definitely takes the stress out of having to shop around for the best price or worry about getting nickel and dimed. But does that mean they might offer lower prices up front to compensate?
That's a possibility worth considering. It's always important to compare prices and do your research to ensure you're getting a fair deal regardless of the buyback program.
That's a good point. It's important to be a savvy investor and understand the whole picture. Speaking of which, we mentioned storage earlier. But can you remind our listener about the choices they have when it comes to keeping their precious metals safe?
They don't recommend storing gold at home for safety reasons. Instead, they partner with reputable storage facilities, including Delaware Depository Service, Brinks Global Services, and International Depository Services. These facilities are located in different parts of the country and offer secure storage designed specifically for precious metals.
So no need to worry about finding a secret hiding spot in your house or becoming the target of a heist movie plot.
Exactly. These professional facilities are much safer and offer peace of mind.
And what about custodians? Are there options there, or do they work with just one company?
While they primarily work with Equity Trust Company as the custodian for their clients' IRAs, you do have the flexibility to choose a different custodian if you have a specific one in mind.
Can you explain what a custodian does in this context?
A custodian is a neutral third party who holds your IRA assets and ensures that everything is compliant with IRS regulations. They basically act as a safeguard to protect your investment. and make sure everything is managed correctly.
So they're kind of like a referee, making sure all the rules are being followed.
That's a perfect analogy. They're there to protect your interests and ensure that your IRA is handled properly.
Got it. It's good to know that there's oversight and accountability built into the process. Now, even with all these safeguards and positive reviews, are there any red flags or potential downsides that we haven't discussed yet? I'm always a bit skeptical when something seems too good to be true.
You're right to be cautious. While American Hartford Gold has a lot of happy customers, it's important to acknowledge that a few negative reviews do exist.
Okay, no company is perfect. What are some of the common complaints you came across?
Some customers have mentioned concerns about the level of communication, particularly during the account setup process. A few others have expressed feeling pressured by sales representatives, which can be off-putting.
So communication and sales tactics are areas where there might be room for improvement.
It seems that way. However, it's important to remember that these complaints are relatively few compared to the volume of positive feedback.
That's good to know, but still important to be aware of. Is there anything else that stands out as a potential concern?
One crucial thing to emphasize is that American Hartford Gold, while knowledgeable and helpful, are precious metals specialists, not licensed financial advisors. They can guide you through the process, but ultimately you need to make your own informed decisions.
Right, they can't give personalized financial advice.
Exactly. So it's really important for individuals to do their own due diligence, consult with a qualified financial advisor, and make sure that investing in precious metals aligns with their overall financial strategy.
It's all about empowering yourself as an investor and taking control of your financial future. Now, before we move on, I want to make sure we're presenting a balanced perspective. We've uncovered a lot of positive information about American Hartford Gold, but are there any competing perspectives or criticisms of the company or the precious metals industry that we should consider? We want to give our listener the full picture.
That's a fantastic point. And it highlights the importance of critical thinking when it comes to investing. While gold and silver are often viewed as safe haven assets, especially during times of uncertainty, some financial experts argue that their long-term returns may not be as impressive as other investment options like stocks.
So there's a debate about the growth potential of precious metals compared to other assets.
Precisely. Some critics also point out that precious metals don't generate any income. Unlike stocks that pay dividends, gold and silver just sit there. Their value fluctuates based on market forces, but they don't actively produce any returns.
So there's an opportunity cost to consider.
Exactly. You're tying up capital that could potentially be earning income elsewhere. It's all about weighing the potential benefits of diversification and hedging against the potential for higher returns in other investment vehicles.
These are all really important points to consider. It seems like the key takeaway here is that investing in precious metals, like any investment, requires careful consideration, research, and should be part of a well-rounded financial strategy.
I couldn't agree more. It's not a one-size-fits-all solution, and understanding the nuances is crucial.
Now let's shift gears a bit and get more specific. Are there specific scenarios where investing in precious metals through American Hartford Gold makes sense? And conversely, are there situations where it might not be the best fit? Let's help the listener figure out if this aligns with their needs and goals.
Let's consider a few different investor profiles. Imagine someone nearing retirement who's feeling anxious about the stock market's volatility and is searching for a way to safeguard their nest egg from inflation. Allocating a portion of their portfolio to precious metals through a gold IRA with American Hartford Gold could provide that sense of stability they're craving.
That makes a lot of sense. Gold has that reputation as a safe haven, especially during uncertain economic times. But what about a younger investor, someone just starting out, maybe with a bit more risk tolerance? Would American Hartford Gold be a good fit for them?
It's not as clear-cut in that scenario. While anyone can invest in precious metals, a younger investor with a longer time horizon might find more growth potential in other assets like stocks or real estate. Precious metals can be a good diversifier, but they shouldn't be the primary focus for someone with decades of investing ahead of them.
So it's really about aligning your investment strategy with your age, your financial goals, and how much risk you're comfortable taking.
Exactly. Now let's look at someone who's heavily invested in tech stocks. Maybe they're a bit nervous about the volatility of that sector and are looking to balance things out. Adding some precious metals to the mix could potentially offset the ups and downs of the tech market and provide a buffer during a downturn.
That's a great example of using precious metals strategically to create a more diversified and resilient portfolio.
Right. It's the classic, don't put all your eggs in one basket.
Now, what about the investor who's really passionate about ethical investing and sustainability? How does American Hartford Gold measure up in those areas? It's a question a lot of people are asking these days.
That's a critical consideration, and it's something American Hartford Gold seems to take seriously. They emphasize responsible sourcing for their metals, working with suppliers who follow ethical mining practices.
So they're aware of the environmental and social impact of their operations and are taking steps to mitigate those concerns.
That's what their materials suggest. They talk a lot about transparency and sustainability throughout their supply chain.
That's encouraging to hear. More and more investors are prioritizing these values. So it's good to see companies responding to that demand. Now let's flip the script again. Are there any scenarios where American Hartford Gold might not be the best choice? What are the potential drawbacks?
One thing to keep in mind is that while gold and silver have historically held their value, they're not known for rapid growth, so someone looking for a quick return on their investment might be disappointed. Precious metals are more of a long-term play.
Right. We talked earlier about needing patience and a long-term perspective with this type of investment.
Exactly. And if someone's looking for a wide range of alternative assets, they might find American Hartford Gold's focus on just gold and silver to be too limiting. They might need to explore other platforms or companies that offer a broader selection.
It's all about finding the right fit for your individual needs and investment goals. There's no one-size-fits-all solution. So we've looked at the good, the bad, and the maybe not so good. As we wrap up this deep dive into American Hartford Gold, what are the key takeaways you want to leave our listener with? What's the bottom line?
I think it's safe to say that American Hartford Gold offers a solid, and in many ways convenient path to investing in precious metals, especially for those interested in gold and silver IRAs. They have a proven track record, a strong reputation, consistently positive customer reviews, and a real focus on providing excellent customer service.
That all sounds good, but I sense a but coming.
But, and this is crucial, like any investment, it's essential to do your homework, understand the risks involved, and talk to a qualified financial advisor to make sure it fits into your overall financial plan. Don't let the allure of gold blind you to the importance of a well-rounded and personalized financial strategy.
Great advice, Tiffany. So there you have it, folks, a deep dive into American Hartford Gold. We've covered a lot of ground today, from their products and services to the potential benefits and drawbacks of investing in precious metals. We hope this information has been helpful and will equip you to make informed decisions.
Remember, knowledge is power. The more informed you are, the better equipped you'll be to navigate the complex world of investing.
We'd like to leave you with a question to ponder as you continue your investing journey. Given the current economic climate, with all its uncertainties and potential for volatility, how might adding precious metals to your portfolio impact your long-term financial security? It's a question worth considering.
We encourage you to explore this further, talk to your financial advisor, and make choices that align with your individual goals and risk tolerance.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into American Hartford Gold. We're the Moore's Global Finance podcast team, and we'll be back with more deep dives into the financial world soon. Until then, happy investing.